ever heard of fish getting vaccinated. It's not just about, keeping your goldfish healthy.
Right.
It's a huge deal for global food security, believe it or not.
Yeah.
We're diving into the world of fish vaccines today.
Okay.
With articles on fish health, aquaculture,
Right.
and even a little bit about ethical pet ownership. Would you believe it?
Yeah, it's fascinating how something we might not even think about can have such far-reaching implications.
It really is, isn't it? So let's unpack why vaccinating fish is so important in the first place.
Well,
Yeah.
imagine you're raising millions of salmon.
Mm-hmm.
Packing them all together makes them really susceptible to diseases.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Kind of like how a cold, rips through a crowded classroom.
Right.
Vaccination helps prevent that from happening.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But how does that affect, me, someone who orders salmon more often than visits an aquarium?
Yeah, well, it goes back to antibiotics.
Oh, wait.
Take Norway, for example. They're like the salmon farming superstars.
Right.
Back in the 90s, they really started vaccinating their fish. And it dramatically changed the game,
Yeah, I was reading about that. They cut down on antibiotic use by a lot, right?
Exactly. They reduced antibiotic use by like 90%.
Wow.
It's huge because overusing antibiotics anywhere,
Right.
whether in humans or animals,
Right.
contributes to antibiotic resistance, which is a major global health threat.
So by vaccinating fish, Norway is helping in the fight against superbugs.
Yes.
That's pretty amazing.
It's true. It's like a domino effect.
Right.
But in a good way.
In a good way, exactly.
Yeah.
And it really highlights how interconnected animal health is with our own.
Exactly.
Speaking of interconnectedness, I was amazed to discover Maine's role in the fish vaccine world. We're practically swimming in experts, aren't we? I mean, we've got the University of Maine Veterinary Diagnostics Laboratory, Kennebec River Biosciences.
Maine has a remarkable concentration of expertise in this field, absolutely.
Yeah.
Kennebec, for instance, is doing really incredible work with what we call multivalent vaccines.
Okay.
Think of it like a single shot that protects against multiple fish diseases.
Oh, wow.
It's like getting your flu shot and a tetanus booster all in one go.
Wow. Talk about efficiency.
Yeah.
So they're like the pioneers of fish vaccine development right here in Maine.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so we've established that vaccinating fish is like a pretty big deal for all sorts of reasons. But how do you even give a fish a shot? Do they have like tiny little waiting rooms too?
Thankfully, it's a little different than taking your dog to the vet.
Right.
There are two main methods they use: immersion and injection.
Immersion. So they like swim in a giant vaccine bath.
Essentially, yeah. They add the vaccine directly to the water, and the fish absorb it through their gills and skin.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely the simpler method,
Right.
but not quite as effective as injection.
Yeah, I was going to say, I imagine like a little vaccine dip in the water can't be as effective as a targeted injection, right?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Injection delivers the vaccine directly into the muscle, which leads to a much stronger immune response. Think of immersion as a little nudge, and injection as the power boost.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And speaking of injections, we have that image here of a California yellowtail getting vaccinated. They really target the muscle with that, huh?
Precisely. And this is where those multivalent vaccines from Kennebec come in.
Oh, right.
One injection, and it can protect against several diseases.
Wow.
So it makes the process more efficient and way less stressful for the fish.
So instead of getting like multiple shots, it's a one-stop shop for fish immunity.
Pretty much, yeah.
That's impressive. But I imagine, like with human vaccines, there are different types of fish vaccines for different purposes. I read about bacterins, live attenuated vaccines, subunit vaccines, and toxoids. Are those all used for fish too?
You're exactly right. There's a whole range of fish vaccines, and the technology is constantly evolving, just like in human medicine.
That's amazing.
It really is. What's really exciting are these new DNA vaccines.
DNA vaccines. Okay, those sound incredibly cutting edge. What makes them so special?
Well, they use a fish pathogen's DNA to trigger an immune response.
Oh, wow.
This approach has the potential to be incredibly effective and targeted, offering really long-lasting protection. It's like giving the fish's immune system a sneak peek at the virus's blueprint so it's ready to fight back if it ever encounters the real deal.
Wow. That's like giving their immune systems a set of instructions to fight off some specific diseases.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay, so we've covered these massive salmon farms and these like really cutting-edge vaccines.
Right.
But what about our finned friends swimming around in tanks at home?
Yeah.
What about Goldie?
That's a really important point to bring up. Because just because, a goldfish might be inexpensive to buy doesn't mean its care should be taken lightly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's easy to think, oh, it's just a fish. But like I was reading in these sources, responsible pet ownership applies to all creatures, big or small.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if you dedicated so much effort to keeping farmed fish healthy. Shouldn't we, as responsible pet owners, apply that same care to the fish we bring into our homes?
Right.
Proper aquarium setup, understanding their needs, even seeking veterinary care when needed.
Yeah.
These are all really crucial aspects of ethical fish ownership.
And speaking of veterinary care,
Yeah.
did you know there are actual fish vets?
There are, yeah.
Wow.
Aquatic veterinary medicine is a growing field, reflecting a broader awareness of just responsible pet care in general.
It's amazing how specialized veterinary medicine has become.
Yeah.
Thinking about all this, from those high-tech fish syringes we talked about to, now Goldie's Health.
Right.
It really highlights how complex and interconnected the world is.
It really does. And it makes you realize that something as seemingly simple as fish vaccination can have ripples that reach far beyond the surface,
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So to wrap up our deep dive today,
Okay.
we learned that fish vaccination isn't just about, keeping Nemo swimming happily in his tank.
Right.
It plays a crucial role in ensuring sustainable food production.
Yeah.
Combating this, global threat of antibiotic resistance.
Right.
And even, prompts us to rethink our responsibilities as pet owners.
Yeah, it's a fascinating example of how science and ethics really intersect.
Yeah. Impacting, both global health and just our everyday lives.
It really is. And it kind of leaves us with a question to ponder.
Okay.
If we're developing such sophisticated technology for fish health, what other advancements in animal health might be on the horizon?
That's a great question.
It really is something to think about.
Yeah.
Until next time, keep those brains swimming.